This week, I've certainly been thinking of our biblical foremothers, as well as the mothers directly part of my family and my church family, those who've gone before us in faith and life. The photo that begins a bit of a collage of photos of rocks and stones. The first one that I put on the screen is a glacial erratic that's just east of Airdrie. At age 5, 1903, my grandma Kenneborough, who was part of the hockey family, came to Homestead very near to where that big old split rock landed. It certainly made an impression on my grandma. And I remember her telling me that as a youth, she and her classmates would sometimes detour after school to challenge one another to ride their horses through the split rock and see which horses spooked, which children spooked, or who got stuck. Or in other ways, they would make up stories about who or what was hiding in the crevice, like snakes. Imagine, it's estimated that enormous rock was deposited there some 10,000 years ago. Its spiritual significance for the first peoples is evident by there being faded remains of ochre pictographs. You can also tell that it was used for years and years as a rubbing stone for buffalo and cattle. As far as I know, it is still on private pasture land. Rocks, stones, have stories and significance, have a heritage that is long-lasting, foundational. Worn, eroded by weather and or worry, I've been known to carry a worry stone or a pet rock in my pocket. Have you? The biblical image of the rock is used in many places to connote protection, strength, security, especially that of a place of sanctuary, ceremonial, a sacred space. In today's reading, Peter introduces the idea, the image of living stones, built into a spiritual house, embodying what is to be rock solid in welcoming, encouragement, and compassion as in Christ. What an interesting metaphor for this day where we uplift motherhood and mothering, and for this time where we are dependent upon the church as a people, as living stones, connecting to one another in whichever circle, bubble they're able to be with. Surely active verbs speak of embodying the heart of an active, a living God, similar to a mother's work never being done. As the household of God, the community of faith is built up through instructing, nursing, serving, calming, enjoying, feeding, challenging, cleaning, entertaining, teaching, worrying over, playing, and praying with. The list goes on and on. We can do hard things is a brief quote I heard just this week from a United Church colleague, and I used it as part of my message of hope and inspiration that was televised, that was online with StetlerLocal.com on Wednesday. For that colleague from Calgary, It's become a meaning-filled mantra, especially in these times of tense relations. Uh, we are in the people profession, and it's hard not to be with our people in a very present way. We can do hard things. A quote that jumped off the page for her as she read Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I like it. It expresses more than certain Hallmark card sentiments. It speaks to me of responsibilities, of mothering, living, loving, relating, that all of that which is of God and in God for the good of all God's children. Hopefully hopefully today's theme has us believe and expand upon our calling to do hard things. God's living spirit, not cherished or not chiseled in stone, but carved, indeed cherished, into and made from human lives, enduring and endearing. What we do in and with our lives as individuals, as church, as family, influences our spirituality. Peter's message invites and calls others to align themselves morally, ethically, noticeably to Jesus, our judge and our hope, our cornerstone. High expectations are outrageous only when the one setting the bar, or the role model, doesn't first set the example. For Jesus, family went beyond bloodline. He nurtured a spiritual home. He nurtured himself and found spiritual goodness within to his own being, and then developed a spiritual household as he gave himself and connected himself to others. In spoken and unspoken ways, for those who had ears to hear, eyes and hearts to see, he expected the world to be a better place for his having been there. He expected his disciples to be better people because he taught and influenced them. After he departed from this world, he hoped his passion for life would be carried on by the Spirit's momentum at work in his extended family, disciples, friends, followers. To honor mothers, parents, God in Christ, we don't need to do everything they say as much as live our lives such that they would be proud to have us as children. When we know a love that's just and real and right and true, that bears us up, we don't want to let them down. When it's there for you, you want to continue to build it up. When you hear the word mother, of whom do you think? Why? I hope it's not just quit mothering me, which means smothering me. Who has been nurturing and caring for you in your life? Who's noticed the sparkle and the shape and what attracts you to pick up that rock and have it in a special place? To who do you offer nurture and care like a mother, and in what ways? And perhaps another way of asking or saying is, what is it, who is it that helps you rock the role of being a living stone in the family of God? How can and how do our lives and actions fit in with what God has already started doing? Birthing and building up this world through the life and teachings and example of Jesus. Our Minute for Mission today highlights Massey Center, a place of wellness for mother and child. The video, the message, speaks of over 100 years of ministry of mothering. I appreciate knowing I'm part of continuing to build up mothers and children, as together we are agents of God's love in this world through the United Church of Canada. Our vocation, our call is to give birth to Christ, new in every generation, new in every incarnation of God on earth as in heaven. Thus, with a shout out to mums that matter, to us, to others, and certainly to God, we say, thanks for rocking the roll.